In the Interruption, but I'm Pablo Torre. Wilbon in New Orleans, me in Miami. So, Tony, where are you?
Tony Kornheiser, the Galapagos. It looks so much like my basement here, doesn't it? Looks like my basement.
Tropical, yes.
The Galapagos, they have those giant turtles, don't they? Giant tortoises from the Galapagos Islands, I believe.
Almost as old as you, I'm told, those tortoises. Yeah.
Bigger and older to some degree. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. Wilbon has betrayed you. So coming to the rescue is our great friend, the host of the podcast, Pablo Torre Finds Out, Mr. Pablo Torre. There you go. Let's get some applause. And we begin today not with any more NBA trades, but with the Super Bowl, which has been mostly out of the news all week because of Luka Doncic. The Kansas City Chiefs are 1.5-point favorites over the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams won 17 games this year. They are not surprises getting here. Pablo, what are you looking for, and who are you leaning towards?
I'm going to take the Chiefs, and I am stunned that this counts as a less than obvious choice at this point, Tony. I know this is going to be a close game, but to me, in my mind, I'm old enough to remember how close does not mean questionable. Like, I think this is clearly the Chiefs. This is clearly going to be a close game. This is the best this is the best team, period, that Mahomes has faced in his run of AFC title games and Super Bowls. And I believe that the team that has won 15 straight one-score games, led by the team with the coach that's better and the quarterback that's better, is a winning formula. Yeah. So give me Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, all things are never equal, but all things being equal, I think that Philadelphia is the better team. I think they have the better defense. I think they have the more explosive offense. We have seen Saquon Barkley hit home runs in the playoffs, against really good teams. I think that their wide receivers are better. I look at them. Saquon Barkley makes an enormous difference on that team from last year. I think that they're the better team, but they don't have Patrick Mahomes. We have seen Patrick Mahomes win this game 3 times. Nobody asks the question, is Jalen Hurts the GOAT? They don't ask that. They ask that about Patrick Mahomes. So sort of like you, even though I think Philadelphia is the better team, sort of like you, I feel Patrick Mahomes will win this game one way or another. I do.
Yeah, look, I buy into what is not mythology about Mahomes. It's that when the game is most important, he is at his best. He finds ways to win under pressure. And I want to make it more than just Mahomes, even more than Andy Reid, who, by the way, if he wins this game, Tony, might have a very plausible claim to be the greatest coach ever. Even ahead of Belichick, given that he's done it.
No, I think there's a real Belichick. No.
I think there's a real argument. There's a real argument there. There's a real argument. But his assistant coach, right, Steve Spagnuolo, I believe that Spagnuolo might become the first assistant exclusively to go into the Hall of Fame, right? So when you have the architect of a defense that can do that, I just think the Chiefs, those guys plus Chris Jones, the Hall of Famers plus Kelsey, like I like the pedigree, I guess is what I'm saying. And I think it's not that close in that regard.
Let me point one thing out, though. Philadelphia is not afraid of this stage. They've been to the Super Bowl 3 times in the last 6 or 7 years. They won one of these things, and they've still got a couple of carryover guys. So, I think Philadelphia is the better team. I just don't think they're going to win. I don't think they're going to win.
Yeah, I can hear Philly being very, very mad at me, and you, I think, at this point. But the vote for NFL MVP, Tony, there was a bit of a surprise there. Josh Allen topped Lamar Jackson, becoming the first player in 21 seasons to be named MVP without being named first-team All-Pro, an honor Jackson had earned. The same voters, by the way, determined both awards. So did Josh Allen, Tony, deserve to be named MVP over Jackson?
Okay, so let me just say that on my ballot, if I'd had a ballot, I would have had 3 people clearly ahead of everyone else. I would have had Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, and Lamar Jackson in alphabetical order. I would have voted for Saquon Barkley. He had a tremendous year, could have, maybe should have, more rushing yards in 1 year than anyone ever. Last year the Eagles collapsed towards the end of the season. They made one change. They got Saquon Barkley, and they did not collapse this year. But he also worked with the best offensive line in football, so he had help. Lamar Jackson has better numbers than Josh Allen. His touchdown to interception rate is better. His total amount of yards while rushing is better. But he had Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is tremendous. You have to game plan for Derrick Henry, and I think that gives Lamar Jackson a certain amount of freedom. Josh Allen didn't have this stuff. He didn't have Pro Bowl wide receivers. He did not have running back threats. He did not have the best offensive line in football. So whatever Buffalo got, Josh Allen did that, and that's why I wouldn't have voted for him, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
The three names you mentioned, I think you're right. That's the tier at the very top. Any of those guys, I'm not losing sleep. But I just want to discuss what the difference is between first-team All-Pro and MVP, because it's interesting, right? We've sort of isolated a variable here. What's the difference between being the best quarterback on the first-team All-Pro team versus the most valuable player? And it tells me, Tony, that MVP is more of a story award, right? Josh Allen won bigger games than Lamar Jackson in the regular season. Josh Allen came into the league criticized by all of the writers who ended up voting for him for MVP for being inefficient and inaccurate. This was the most efficient and accurate season of Josh Allen's career. And he was one of the best guys in both regards in the entire sport. So to me, it feels like a career achievement award in a sense, which is, again, different from maybe some other people's definitions. But the difference seems to be there's a justification for rewarding him for not having won it before.
That first-team All-Pro thing, the best quarterback is Joe Burrow, and the best player is Patrick Mahomes. So, I don't know how those work off each other. I mean, I'm okay with the MVP award. I'm okay. I don't want to vote. I don't want to vote. I want the sticker that says I voted. Now we move to the NBA and Luka Doncic. The Mavericks won last night without Anthony Davis. The Lakers won without Luka. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're going to talk about this choice. Which scene would you rather cover, Pablo? The Mavericks playing their first home game since the trade, that'll happen tomorrow, or Monday's Laker home game where Luka is targeting to be on the court?
I love this question, this setup, because the question here is, where's the better story? And I'm tempted to go to Dallas. I'm really tempted because I think we've missed the forest and the trees when it comes to a fan revolution that is maybe now going to focus finally on the people who own the team as opposed to the GM meat shield, who's been the guy we've all been criticizing for understandable reasons. But I get it. But I'm sending myself to LA. I'm sending myself to the Lakers. Tony, I'm sending myself to see LeBron James, who just became the oldest and youngest person to have a game like the one he had last night, 40 plus, a zillion assists, 40, rebounds, all of it. Yes, I want to see that, and I want to see Luka in his debut. I want to see that because it's history and not just anger.
So I don't think this is a close call. I think the answer is very obvious, and I base this on the fact that I used to be a sports columnist, and I might even have to face a choice like this. Where are you going to go?